Hey, we're back finishing up day 3. We're going to have some fun. If we had got to be a live class, there would have been fidgets and stuff like this all over the table, and we would have just watched to see what you would play with it, when you would start playing with it without instructions to play with it. But we couldn't do that, but we want to show you. Some of this we bought, some of it we made. It helps different children with different needs. So it's a lot of fun, and you might want to keep this video just to help you remember when you have kids that need something. One thing we have done at our church was fix what we call sensory bags. And so there's a box that's kept in the back of the church, and when we have children that show up that may be having a harder time fidgeting, one of us can go get them a bag, and it will have all kinds of stuff in there that they can sit quietly in church with. This is just ribbons tied together, but somebody that likes the shininess and the little pipe cleaners and stuff can sit there and play for hours with that without making noise. And this is a Ziploc bag full of toys, and they have a little drawstring bag somebody made that they can put their toys in. It's bracelets, and it's kind of like pipe cleaners, but they're called Wiki sticks. They're covered with wax, and so you can twist them around and like make letters. You could do your name, or they would hold the shape just by twisting them. So that's something in that bag that a child might enjoy. This is a felt bag made out of felt with just things in there that would stick on to the felt. So you could do your shapes. You could put a bigger one on. There's your pie. Maybe it's a pumpkin pie with that on. It's just quiet felt pieces that they could play with quietly. And this is a doll made out of a handkerchief. It's got a cotton ball for a head, and then it's tied for the arms, and it just hangs down. So that's a little doll that they could play with. Let's see what else is in this one. There's a book, and it's God Loves Me, and they could write in it. He gave me a mom, a dad, sister, or brother. It could be 10 Commandments that we've talked about today. Whatever you were studying could be a little flip book where they could write a little song. That makes a little bit more noise than those, but for the kids that like to write, they might write on. So that's what's in that bag. One little boy just kept his where he sat, and he liked butterflies, so we had several butterfly things in his. And then here's a fan you could offer. A lot of the adults would like for you to offer them that. And writing tablets where they could just write. This would be for older children. Papers and markers where they could draw in church. This bag just had rope in it. You'd be surprised. It's not really rope, it's yarn that looks like rope. And I saw a little 4-year-old sit and play all through a service with this one day. And I think he made it a snake or whatever, but he sat quietly and just played with that piece of yarn. So those were some loose items that were in there. But here's another one of the bags that was in there. This one had pipe cleaners in it. And a coloring book for a child that likes to color. Some more of those felt pieces. These had holes punched in them, and there's some yarn down in here where they could lace. This is, you microwave it to put it on your neck, or you can heat them too, I think, for if you've got a sore spot. But they're just fun to play with the beads without being hot or cold. This was actually bought, and I actually bought it in an airport, so it might have been in Ukraine, but it's a fan, but it lights up. So it's a little distracting, but it's pretty quiet. So if it keeps that child happy, nobody will care that much that it's lighting up a little bit. And there was the crayons for the crayons. And this was one of those little squeezy things. It's a little Mickey Mouse that you can just squeeze and it comes back into its shape. So that was what was in this one. So you can have a bag, and this, we don't let the children take these home, we just keep them in the bag, and then they can get that same bag back if they like it, or we can find things they do like and put in it. A lot of times, if we're trying to keep them quiet and stuff, we do things that aren't going to fall down, that stay together. So this one had different textures to feel, but they were all put together on a ring. There's a burlap and a cork, and they're taped shut so they can't get into it. Felt and feathers and glitter, and it has a pipe cleaner inside that one, and it opens up so you can take the pipe cleaner out and play with it. And these, they made a set that had buttons on the front, and then they could put the word inside to match. So you could match the name of purple to the purple. So that was a match game. This used to have cookies in it, and you can cut a hole in the lid and then just get little fuzzy balls, pom-pom balls I call them, and they can practice putting things in the hole. You can have different size holes at different places that you just cut out and put the lid on. Wendy's mother made me these, and they're terry cloth, like a washcloth size, and she has it sewed in two. It has two purposes. Now this one has something that makes a little noise in it, but that's okay. Sometimes you need a little noise. It may not be for the church service. But they can put this in their lap, and it serves like a weighted blanket because the beans are heavy, or they can just play with the bean bag part or play with the little frog part that's on there that they want to play. And so there's one with a frog, and here's one with an owl sewed onto them. Same type of thing. Those are a lot of fun. Sometimes you can get containers of anything and keep things in there that you want them to play with. These are actually pencil holders to, I don't have a pencil up here now, to help them with their grip. So they can put their other fingers in there to show them how to hold it. And this shows them where to lay their fingers when the pencil's in there so they can hold it correctly. Or this just gives them a little bit fatter pencil to hold. And silicone makes all kinds of stuff. This is just a pot holder or something to put hot dishes down on, but kids love to pull on it, especially chewers that like to put things in their mouth. This is easy to sanitize, so that would be a good purpose for that. And some children need to know their schedule, but you don't want to go around with a big schedule. We'll talk about schedules more in Mars lesson, but this gives you a little one size where you can put, you're going to do this, 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 and this, and then we get to go home or get to go eat or whatever would motivate them. And sometimes they need a picture. First we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that to help them know, and that can go on their wrist, or you can keep it on yours and they can check it off or start off like they went to their class, they sung the songs, they were quiet during the prayer time, they were quiet during the sermon time, you know, things like that to show them how to do it. And that's just a stretchy thing on a name tag. Lights are always popular with kids, and they don't make a lot of noise, and then people around them, they're just these little pin-like things. They're not so distracted after they realize that they have them, and they don't get hot. They can hold them without it getting hot. And little cushy balls, kids always love these things to pull on and just to play with. And pipe cleaners, you can do anything and everything. You can make cute things, or you can just twist them around and around your finger, or whatever you like to do with that. This is a little bobblehead. That's probably not for church, but it's a good entertainment. And then balls, of course. Balls are made for throwing, so if you're going to give a child a ball, expect that it might get thrown, because that's what they know they're made for. So just be in a place where it's okay to throw a ball if you're going to give them a ball. Don't give them a ball and then say don't throw it. I disagree with that. So this one goes down flat somehow, It has not been down flat for a while. I'll get it in a minute, maybe. So we'll work on that, but then you control it up and down your arm and stuff like that. I'll work on that while somebody else is talking, and then I'll show you. Also, this is just a brown paper bag, but it's been cut this way, and it's in packing materials. It's really stretchy. It makes great 3D items for adding to a picture that you need something on, or just giving them a piece just to play with would be fun. The same with the tinsels. It can be played with. It shines, and you can twirl it, and it's quiet. So those are some good quiet items. The parachute over here is commercially bought, and it's more for group activities, going outside or even in the classroom to put balls on. And when the ball rolls to you, you can say the next word of the Bible verse or the next 10 Commandments or something like that. So those are some of the items that are up here on the stage. What else we got up here? Okay. I'll play with this while she talks. This one I want to twirl.
Many of your women in your church probably knows how to crochet, and this is a little crochet arm sleeve, and they put pom-poms and shoestrings and ribbons and buttons and beads and a little twirly thing, and your person with special needs can put that on their arm. They can play with it or just sit and hold it. I think that's really neat. Now this one was a bought item, and this is a little dog, but it can easily be made out of a blanket, and all of the things detach with snaps, and inside there's a ball. And it's a ribbon, and all of these things can be removed so it can be washed. But I just think this is so neat for a person that would like to feel and touch and fidget, and it's cute too.
If they have a hard time holding on to things, then that can go on their arm, and it helps them. They're not going to lose what they're trying to play with.
Bottles, oh, we love bottles. This has rice in it and beads. It can be a shaker. It can be a hide and seek. Find a blue bead. Find a car. There's a eraser that's got a car on it. And when you're making these things, you want to make sure that you secure the lead, especially of something like this. And you can just use glue and glue that on. This is one with water, and it's got animals in it, and you can shake it up and watch the animals fall. And this has got duct tape to keep the lid on. This is a bought little square cube. It's got all kinds of stuff on it. You might find stuff like this in the baby department that would work for any age. And then here is one that is made out of a little styrofoam box, and it's just got material, and this is burlap and little fuzzy balls and bumpy paper. And who doesn't like bubbles? Oh, even at my age, I love to blow bubbles. And this is something you might want to do outside because it can get
Or you can
slippy.
put down towels.
Yes,
if
towels.
you're going to do
Yes.
it inside.
Yes.
Because towels
I
are
would
very
open
observant.
this. Thank you. And these are water beads. They come in tiny speck, different colors. And you put them in water and they expand, and you can do all kinds of stuff with them. But getting back to the bubbles, we need a few bubbles floating around. And my goodness. Sorry, folks. Well, maybe I'll let Wendy blow bubbles. And you can put these water beads in a Ziploc bag with some toys, and they're just so fun to feel and play with. And then here is just a piece of fabric with a marble in it that they can run all the way down, then go back up, and different colors.
I play with those all the time while I'm teaching. I keep saying I'm going to put a keychain on the end of it so I can have it right there with me with my keys.
And these lights, you don't have to use electricity. They come in with a little battery pack, and you can cut them on and off.
Some of them twinkle and
Yeah.
do patterns.
But like Sandra said, we all love to look at lights. Oh yes, you guys have some bubbles.
That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah. And
Just the bubble wrap itself is fun.
yeah. Oh, that's where my bubble wrap went.
On her shoe.
There you go.
But you just can mash these bubbles, but then they make bigger bubbles that is fun to run up and down.
And walk on, yeah.
Yes, walk on. One of the things down here is this happens to be a headphones sewn inside this headband. You put it on the child and turn the music on. Or if the noise is too loud, especially with children and adults with autism, it can be a buffer to the noise. And if they keep it on, it's just a fun headband with headphones in them. Wendy, what you got?
Well, there is certain things that I try to keep in my classroom. The kiddos in my classroom call it Miss Wendy's science box and craft box. I recommend, if you can find them, I always try to keep mason jars in my room. You don't want glass with special needs. You want to try to find plastic ones are preferable, like mason, like mayonnaise jars, but this is all I could find today. I do several activities with these, like one week we did joy jars, and they put streamers around it, and the kids just love rubbing on them, and then they take them home, and they would put pom-poms in them, rocks, candy, so every time they felt joy, they would put it in their joy jar, bring it back, and tell me about what joy they found throughout the day. We also did this with kindness. We did a kindness jar. We do a bunch of stuff with jars.
Thankfulness.
Thankfulness, yeah, we did that. The next staple in my box, I never go out with that without baking soda. There's an ongoing joke at church here that if you hear something explode, it's because Miss Wendy's exploding something. Because we explode something at least once, twice a month. We do vinegar and baking soda. We calm the storm. We put the baking soda in and we pour the vinegar in because we're feeling frustrated and our storm is just brewing. And then we take a little dot of oil because, you know, God calms our fears and calms our storm, and the oil fizzles it down and makes us calm again. What's that? Shaving cream.
It's a staple for her. I'm not a fan of it.
Miss Holly's not a fan of shaving cream.
The kids like it.
Yes, we make 10 Commandment snowballs. And the philosophy on this one is if you break one commandment, you're going to break another. So it just snowballs into breaking more and more. And we use shaving cream and cornstarch. And you just mix it until you get a snowball. But I also use...
What else would thicken it up besides cornstarch? With flour?
Flour might work. You might just have to play with it. That's the fun thing about science experiments is you just try. You just bring the stuff in. If it works, it works. If not, you just make a good old mess and the kids are having a great time with it. I also use this, I put it on my table and the kids will write out the 10 Commandments, the fruit of the spirits, or draw the pictures. We make slime with this as well, along with the contact solution. A lot of the slime recipes call for borax. I don't like using borax because of the chemicals. There's a lot of slime recipes out there that you don't have to use contact solution. You can use dish soap. I think I found one that you can use toothpaste. I mean, there's a whole lot of ways to make slime.
So just Google it.
Just Google it, hint, hint, that's a good century thing for your project. Another thing I keep, and you have to be careful with rocks because again, make sure you tell them they can't throw them, they're for decoration.
Or they can't eat them.
Or they can't eat them, yes, I like to eat them. But I like to paint rocks a lot of times, and this is what my group just finished with, and then we'll go out and put them out
Along the path.
along the path, and it just says, Jesus is with you. And you could almost take them, a lot of them take them out into the community and put them around the square and somebody finds it and picks it up. And it's always neat to see them, somebody will put it up on Facebook, look what I found. And it's really neat.
So a Bible verse would be good on there.
Yeah, I've got one, John 3:16. We must have been studying John 3:16 that day because all of them have John 3:16. I keep bowls and cups. Your science box, you want to keep stuff that you know you're going to use bowls, cups, napkins, anything you think you might use almost every day, every Sunday, or at least once a month. Usually I have Clorox wicks in there, but I can't find any right now, so we don't have that in there. The next box that I have is the box with my pipe cleaners. And a lot of times, if I know we're going to be in the Bible digging out verses a lot, I'll go ahead and pull the pipe cleaners out for those that like to fidget. It's like I've been sitting here fidgeting all through the whole lesson, and I've already made me a little ring. Pom-poms, feathers, they love feathers. All sorts of stuff in here. But this is my go-to when I need to pull stuff together. They like puppets. You can put on a puppet show. Some of the older kids can put on a puppet show for the younger ones. They really like that. I have these little coloring sheets. They're felt, so they can touch them and color them at the same time, and it gives them a good century that they're just not sitting still. If you find one of these and get one, I recommend you get more than one because all the kids fight over it and they like it. Yeah, you can put your hand in it, your fist, and it just makes the imprint. They like to put it on their face. Anything squishy that can bubble up and they can just scrunch up. And then we have bags. And the bags, they have, like, if I know somebody can't handle, they don't like the loud, they can put the headphones on so they're not overstimulated or get frustrated because it's so loud. And then stickers. All the kids like stickers, so you can put like little stickers in a bag and have a sheet of paper and they can just put it on there. And there's a coin purse that they can put some stuff in. Again, lights. And then we have, who wants to play? Who's got to play? Again, this is an outside thing.
This one is store-bought and is very inexpensive, but it would not be hard to make.
I know, but I could figure out about 4 ways to make this.
Yes.
You just throw it and have to catch it. Like I said, it would be an outside toy because you don't want them one end of the church to the other. And they might just sit there and just want to rub it because it makes noise. Shiny wrapping paper. and it is Christmas paper. But any kind of shiny wrapping paper, you can pull it out. They're gonna like to feel it, touch it, crinkle it. They might even cut it. You might have some kiddos that like to cut really fine, so they can cut around each individual and make a collage. I try to keep old magazines for them to cut. Any kind of containers that you can fill up and jiggle, you can fill up these kind of containers with anything. It's like Miss Sue said, make sure you secure the top with super glue, tape, anything like that.
Okay, we're gonna, the band on the chairs, if you'll show them that, that's, we talked about it earlier, if you're sitting in that chair and you like to fidget, there's a band down there and it gives you something to play with your feet.
Notice.
They could just hit it back and forth, or they can put their foot in it and stretch it out. It's actually probably good for you, because if you have to sit a long time, it gives you a way to be working your legs, so they're moving around. And also, on things like I was showing you that hook on, I used to use a bunch of things like that with my daughter when I was teaching her to stay with me in the store. We would have shopping carts, and you could put a hook on this, like a keychain hook, and hook it to the thing, to the shopping cart, and then she would have whatever I had hanging off of it that she could be playing with as she walked along with me. I also want you to keep in mind that you're supposed to make an item, so be kind of looking at what triggered your attention here and think, okay, I could order it from somewhere, but I'm supposed to make one, so how could I duplicate the same type of things? This one is spiky like that, but it fits like a glove. It was made to put your hand inside, so that would be nice for church too, I think. So, like,
That could also be used for an award with the 5 check marks.
yes, you could earn one of these things by getting your check marks. So here, remember some of the things we made was it's weighted, and it wouldn't necessarily have to have a noise. It could be larger, it could be a larger, like a tea towel, so it would fit on their lap better. What else? The crochet thing, that could be made out of some other material if you don't crochet. But I had it on a few minutes ago and was absolutely loving the tail of it, because that gave me something to hold and wiggle. And so you could make these very attractive so the child doesn't get a lot of attention drawn to them from other people, especially in cold weather. They just think, oh, they've got something nice to keep their arms warm. And so that was made. These marble things, they sell those, but it's real simple just to sew cloth and make your own and put a marble inside it or something else inside it that could slide up and down. This was, she pointed out to you, was a homemade cube with different textures all around. I've seen them done on canvases too, like you paint, and then you can hang them in their room, and they have one with soft like this and one with ruffly like that. And of course you can make all kinds of stuff in a bottle. What else can they be making, Miss Wendy?
You can take a board and make a concrete schedule out of a board, where you just put, like, you put a spoon. If it's time to eat, you put a spoon and you just, the child can take it off. I'm trying to think. Pinterest has a lot of good ideas. These bands, if you have a physical therapist, you can get them from there. A lot of times they'll donate them.
I use anything that comes for packing, like when you buy stuff in the grocery store, sometimes it comes in a little package of netting or something, and the kids will have a ball playing with stuff like that. Or if you're doing a lesson on Jesus making the disciples fishers of men, here's your nets. You could pretend to throw it over the boat. They could put fish in it, or goldfish crackers to eat later, or something that would also connect to the lesson. And it could be tied with ribbon or even pipe cleaners or something like that. This was some packing shredded, just paper. And, you know, that you can get in stuff that comes in packing. And I've just put it in a Ziploc bag, and it makes a nice crunchy thing for kids to just squeeze. But you could also hide things in there. Maybe the letters of their name, or little fish if they like fish, or there's all kinds of stuff you can put in a bag and zip up just like the bottles.
You can use packing peanuts
Uh-huh.
and put stuff in to hide, or put them in like a Pringles can and shake. You can shake it for a musical instrument.
Even like hair gel, the gooey kind of stuff, put it in there, seal it up good. And you can have some glitter in it or some little toys in it that they can push it around in the corners. Toothpaste in it,
One time
yes.
we made toothpaste bags.
Pudding, so if you think they're gonna bite it and make a hole in it, hair gel doesn't taste too good, but toothpaste is good for your teeth, and pudding, it would taste good, so there are other ways to do
One
it.
time I was teaching a Sunday school class and was using Kool-Aid for paint, and it got to smelling so good they started licking their papers. So be careful about the smells.
Yeah.
That's something else, anything you can add a little smell to would be something that would be another sensory item. It could be even like some of this stuff that you have something on there that you have added a few drops of an essential oil or something. Like lavender is common, so you could have a little pouch that you added a little bit of a scent to, something to help calm. They're different, oils do different things, but calming is probably one of the main purposes for sensory, so that's why I thought of the lavender. We can't tell you exactly what to make because we don't know your circumstances and what you have available or what you might be interested in, but make a useful item that can be used by a child or an adult with a disability. We saw one man that was bedridden, and his mother spent her day pulling him back up in the bed because he would slide down, and she had him up on a pillow, but he would just slide back down, and he was a pretty good size, and I felt sorry for her as we talked to him that day because she had to get behind him and pull him under his arms and pull him back up on his pillow, and she did it several times while we were there. So we brainstormed with some ladies, and they came up with a different type of pillow that kind of surrounded him, so he stayed up and it had a place for his arms, and he was up better on that. So my daughter's having trouble with sleep, and I just bought them, but they could have been made. We bought a wedge to put on her bed because she wouldn't keep the pillows on her bed, so that her head is raised to help her with her sleeping. What are some other things you've used or made?
One of the things that you can take sidewalk chalk and salt and put it in a bread pan, and you rub that chalk on that salt and you make sand. And then you can take a bottle and you can layer that sand for them to turn and make different colors, or it's just something that they can take and make a powder to fill in another bottle. So you've got step-by-step instructions also to help them to follow directions, and it's sensory. And
Yes, my daughter just loves sand, so just any kind of little container that she has, but she wants to feel of it. And some kids like to fill in rice or macaroni noodles or things like that. So you find a good container with a good lid, and then so they can open it and just feel of it, and then close it back up to keep it nice and not scattered everywhere. She kept her sand because she loves sand so much. But my great-granddaughter has thrown the sand over the porch, and it was pretty expensive. So there are recipes to make kinesthetic sand, but I haven't tried it myself, so I don't know how well they work. But I might have to try making my own. Have you ever made any?
not sand.
Okay.
I'm not that kind of sand. I have made snow before.
How'd you make the snow?
Baby powder, baby oil, and cornstarch.
We use cornstarch a lot, and I'm not sure if you have it available, but you could play with different textures to make things. Even with cooking, kids love to play, and they are learning skills at the same time, so they can be learning to stir something. If it's a mess, it's a mess, but messes clean up, and then learn about cleanup, so that works too. What else have you made, Miss Wendy?
We made Kool-Aid, Play-Doh, that's just the Play-Doh with the Kool-Aid. Just like you said, once they smell it, they might try to eat the Play-Doh. I know we did essential oils with the Play-Doh, and that was flour, the oils, and I think salt is what she put in it. They really enjoyed that at VBS the last time. I'm talking about the pillow. We had somebody that was going through chemo, and my mother made them, we called it the chemo pillow, and it had like three different arms, so it wrapped around them so they could have their arm, one arm could be out like this, and the other arm had somewhere to sit, and they could still move around and be comfortable.
You can make musical instruments out of different things, paper plates with beans in it.
Excuse me, just, I have one.
Oh,
You can see
she
that.
happens to have one of those with her. Maracas can be made with things that you can shake. This could work as a rain stick or a maraca. It's a paper towel tube, and it's filled with probably rice.
Right.
Sounds like rice, and just covered with tape to close it. But that you can have music, or you can have somebody just enjoying and feeling it, or you can talk about it's raining, it's barely raining, it's raining hard, noise art, it's really starting to come down now or something. There's always a way. And the reason we keep bringing it back to Bible stories is because some children need that to learn. They don't want to just hear